My top 5 this week, is related to what we just finished reading because we read a Phil Knight memoir. I did a top 5 list of people who will eventually write a memoir
Oh, that's a good one.
that I will read. So a
Oh,
lot of people are gonna write memoirs, but these are memoirs that if they come out with it 20 years from now, I would definitely read it. So most of them are around the same age group. I would say mostly like a little bit, I would say late 20s, early 30s, where they've done enough in life where I think they have a lot to talk about. So number one, or sorry, no, I didn't rank these. Let's go. I'm gonna mentally rank them right now. Um, all right, we'll go number 5. You're gonna make fun of me because it's number 5. But Jake Johnson, the New Girl. I
oh,
think this will be the funniest memoir on here. I think he'd be a funny writer. Also, he's got an interesting backstory enough to fill a decent amount of the book. And then New Girl behind the scenes stuff, I'm gonna read that. So that's very personalized
he's
for
also
me.
a writer in New Girl, so that would be kinda cool.
Oh, that would be a funny bit if he wrote it as it
If, like,
like
under the pen name or something.
yeah, yeah, he wrote it as Nick Miller.
Yeah.
That'd be funny. He also I don't know if you've heard this story. There's this wild story about his mom where one day, I think he was in like 4th or 5th grade, his mom just said, "You're not allowed to go to school tomorrow." And he
I have,
was like,
I think,
"What?"
heard this on a podcast.
Yeah, he was like, "What are you talking about? Like, I'm just gonna go to school. I'm not sick or anything." And she just like for some reason said, "Don't go to school tomorrow. I'm not letting you." It turned out he had a field trip that day, so he was never actually going to the school. So he was just getting on a bus, going to a field trip, coming back home. That day at school, there was a shooting at the school.
Mhm. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Insane. Insane.
Mm,
So that there's enough in his, childhood, I think. That would just be interesting to hear more about. So
yeah.
he's number 5. Number 4, I'm gonna go with where do I wanna go here? I'll do Andrew Garfield, number 4. I think he has a very interesting life, but I also think he just has he's such an old soul already at whatever he's like I want to say mid 30s, maybe pushing 40. He just has such a way with words in all his interviews. He's just very charming and I think he could write some very inspirational words. He also has done I mean he was Spider-Man.
Mhm.
There's you could write an
A lot of
entire
different
memoir just
projects, yeah.
yeah, he's worked with Martin Scorsese, he's done a lot of cool things, did Tick Tick Boom, he's done singing. He's done a bunch of different things where I think combining just him as a person with what he's done would be a very cool read. Number 3, I'm gonna go with Brianna Chicken Fry, very recent. I just want to hear all that drama that hasn't come out yet. That's recency bias. This list isn't gonna age well, but I was just racking my brain of who's holding secrets that I want to know about.
Okay.
And as someone who I've struggled with this whole story with Zach Bryan being a scumbag, which I've kind of known. But I've been listening to Zach Bryan before everyone else. Everyone says that. But I was listening to Zach Bryan like back in high school, like 2017, before anyone else was.
Okay.
And then now I'm just upset. But anyways, I bet she's got a lot of stories to tell. But number 2, who I didn't think these would be in my top 2, but now I have to decide. Let's go with there's a lot of recency bias on this one. I'll save her for one. We're gonna go Shia LaBeouf at number 2.
Okay.
Shia LaBeouf is a interesting cat.
Mhm.
Very interesting. There's a lot going on in that brain. I want to see what he can put on a page because I can't get a good read on him. He also seems like a very thoughtful, like introspective person where I think he would write a memoir that's very self-aware and doesn't paint himself in the best light. I think he'd be willing to say, "Hey, I was a scumbag here,
Mhm.
and I did this, this, and this." He'd be very open. He'd be very open and vulnerable with what he writes about. So put him at number 2. I had no intention on putting her at number 1, but it's just how the cookie crumbles here. Ariana Grande, I think she has 3 very unique stages of life. You can go with the Nickelodeon stuff, which is
Mhm.
a massive just black hole in itself with all this stuff behind the scenes there. So she
Yes.
grew up in that. Then you add Mac Miller into there. There's a lot to unpack there. And
Yeah.
then now we move on to the Wicked stuff, which is going to be a big part of her life. Obviously, right now she's having a moment. She's going to have another moment next year. This is a big storyline of her life. So there's a lot there already. Who knows what she goes on to do? And she's like one of the most successful streaming artists of all time. I
Mhm.
think she's what, top 5 most followed people on Instagram. Insane.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot there that I would read. I would want
I
to
would
know more
agree,
about.
I just don't think she ever would.
Oh, she wouldn't.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe she'd like have a ghostwriter.
I don't think she'd put out anything that wasn't, like, genuine, but I don't think she's willing to, like, share secrets, and I don't think she'll ever share any information about Mac Miller.
Yeah. Which, yeah, do your thing. And I think she does a pretty solid job of just navigating the spotlight because
Yeah, she
she
does.
never comes across as like, because she has the personality, I think, that could come across as like a annoying, almost bratty,
Yeah,
if that's a good way to put it. But also, she just seems incredibly genuine.
yeah, she
And
does.
like she just has a louder, more fun personality.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's my list of 5 people I would want to read a memoir of.